company is at the cutting edge. I'm not sure what to make of all of the tech CEOs with their sci-fi claims that we're on the cusp of developing artificial general intelligence, which will destroy us all. They sign letters saying that AI research should be halted for safety reasons, while rushing to build their own models that break all of the rules that they claim should be followed. I can't help but wonder if they feel that claiming that the technology is dangerous will make investors believe that the technology is much more advanced than it actually is, which might drive up their stock prices and executive compensation. Big breakthroughs in AI and quantum computing can be expected to have both pros and cons. A sudden breakthrough in computing power might mean that all of the encryption tools that we use today can be easily broken, but that has always been the nature of technological advancement, where new things are better than old things. But smart people work out solutions to these new problems, and the world slowly gets better over time. Due to modern technology, a middle-class American today has access to comforts, education, and healthcare that the wealthiest man in the world didn't have 100 years ago. There's a very good New Yorker article from last year written by the computer scientist Jaron Lanier, who points out that people wrote all of the code used in generative AI models, and people wrote the text and created the images that the models are trained on. The new programs mash up this work, and the results are surprising and often striking. The non-repeating nature of these creations can make the software feel alive, but while this is a significant achievement and worth celebrating, it should be thought of as illuminating previously hidden concordances between human creations rather than the invention of a new mind. He talks in the article about how much better it can be when computer interfaces become less rigid, using natural language prompts, for example. We've gotten used to software that requires us to conform to it. For example, forms that won't let you hit submit if you haven't filled them out the way the code requires. This requirement for humans to conform to the needs of software creates a feeling of human subservience to computers. The way these new AI tools work means that we can imagine websites that reformulate themselves on the fly, tailoring themselves to a user's particular cognitive abilities and styles. He argues that this flexibility that AI provides might give us back more agency over these tools, which is a very different vision to the Matrix or Terminator future that other tech visionaries seem to expect. At present, the technologies that are most hyped are shockingly expensive. The FT recently described generative AI as the biggest and fastest infrastructure rollout in history, which leaves us with the big question of who will eventually benefit the most from all of this spending, and when will the returns on investment be realized. Infrastructure plays like Nvidia are often the early winners when a new technology is being rolled out, but so far no company has yet created a killer app for generative AI, or at least one that people will pay money for, despite having sold that dream to investors. While Nvidia is riding high right now, the infrastructure plays of the early internet like Cisco, EMC, Corning, and JDS Uniphase didn't turn into great long-term investments if you invested during the hype phase. The big tech firms who are pumping money into AI are all profitable businesses. While you might think of Facebook as a social network, Google as a search engine, and Amazon as an online retailer, they're all mostly in the advertising business. They make their money selling advertising and are then pumping it into an AI moonshot, hoping that they'll find a way of turning a profit out of it. But at present, we don't know where those profits will come from. They haven't explained that yet. Huge tech spending in the past has sometimes, but not always, worked out. Investors are still waiting to see returns on the investment in virtual reality headsets, the metaverse, and blockchain. I started out by telling you about the SEC warning investors during the dot-com bubble to not just invest in a company because they add .com to their name. Well, it turned out that the SEC was wrong about that. A 2001 paper in the Journal of Finance, called A Rose.com by any other name, found that while name changes generally don't affect the value of a company, there had been dramatic increases in both stock price and trading volume for the companies who...
This video was brought to you by Brilliant. Hi. Welcome to another episode of Cold Fusion.
Two astronauts from Boeing's Starliner are now awaiting a decision on when they can return home from space. After 9 weeks on the International Space Station, NASA now says mechanical issues with the Starliner could turn their planned 8-day mission into 8 months.
For those who've been watching Cold Fusion, you might know that the most popular video on this channel is about the Apollo 13 disaster, which I titled 3 Men Lost in Space. So when I saw this story, I knew I had to make an episode on it. For astronauts Sunita Sunny Williams and Barry Butch Wilmore, what was supposed to be an 8-day trip back in early June has turned into months. And the worst part, there was a lot of uncertainty over whether their spacecraft was safe or not. This meant that there was no specific return date for them. Imagine what they must be feeling up there. The current situation really does capture one's imagination. Why exactly are 2 astronauts stuck in space? What went wrong? Is there enough food and supplies for such a massive change of plans? There's also a last-minute update to the story that reflects terribly on Boeing. So buckle up as we dive into this story.
the razor's edge.
Welcome to Summoner's Rift. "30 seconds until minions spawn.
Don't cross me.
Well met, human. Well left, dreams.
Let's finish this quickly.
Minions have spawned.
Your allegiances mean nothing to me. They won't survive.
Gravity well.
Only fools pledge life to honor.
Witness the singularity.
There's nowhere to hide. I never compromise. On the razor's edge. Don't cross me. Let's finish this quickly.
Implode.
Your allegiances mean nothing to me.
Was that me?
Only fools pledge life to honor. There's nowhere to hide.
Implode.
I never compromise. This blade is my favorite. On the razor's edge.
I just had the strangest.
Enjoy the taste of steel.
Was that me?
Let's finish this quickly. Your allegiances mean nothing to me. They won't survive. Only fools pledge life to honor.
An enemy has been slain.
There's nowhere to hide. I never compromise.
Witness the
On the
singularity.
razor's edge.
Gravity well.
Don't cross me. Let's finish this quickly. Your allegiances mean nothing to me. Their bones will wet my blade.
An enemy has been slain.
Well met. I just had the strangest reality.
Only fools pledge life to honor. There's nowhere to hide.
An enemy has been slain.
I never compromise. On the razor's edge. Another body for the gutter. Don't cross me. Let's finish this quickly. Allegiances mean nothing to me.
Double kill.
They won't survive.
Your team has destroyed a turret.
Only fools pledge life to honor. Pathetic. There's nowhere to hide. I never compromise.
Unstoppable.
On the razor's edge.
An ally has been slain.
Don't cross me. Let's finish this quickly.
Shut down.
Your allegiances mean nothing to me. They won't survive.
Ally has been slain.
Only fools pledge life to honor. There's nowhere to hide.
Killing spree.
On the razor's edge.
Your team has destroyed a turret.
Don't cross me. Let's finish this quickly. Allegiances mean nothing to me. They won't survive.
No one saw that. No one saw that.
Your team has destroyed a turret.
There's nowhere to hide. I never compromise.
An enemy has been slain. Your turret has been destroyed.
On the razor's edge.
Your team has destroyed a turret.
Don't cross me. Let's finish this quickly. Your allegiances mean nothing to me.
Slain. Shut down.
They won't survive. Only fools pledge life to honor. There's nowhere to hide.
An ally has been slain.
I never compromise. On the razor's edge. Don't cross me.
Enemy killing spree.
Let's finish this.
Enemy rampage.
Allegiances mean nothing to me. Their burns will wet my blade.
Has been slain.
They won't survive. This is no challenge. Only fools pledge life to honor.
Your turret has been destroyed.
I never compromise.
An ally has been slain.
Don't cross me. Let's finish this quickly. They won't survive. There's nowhere to hide. I never compromise. On the razor's edge. Let's finish this quickly. Your allegiances mean nothing to me. They won't survive.
An enemy is legendary. An ally has has been slain.
Fools pledge life to honor.
An enemy has been slain.
There's nowhere to hide.
Your team has destroyed a turret.
I never compromise. On the razor's edge. Pathetic.
You have been slain. Your team has destroyed a turret.
Let's finish this quickly.
An ally has been slain.
Allegiances mean nothing to me.
Shut down.
They won't survive. Only fools pledge life to honor.
Have been slain. Your inhibitor has been destroyed. An enemy is legendary. You have defeat.
You're watching Telefusion TV.
For those who don't know, the International Space Station is a large spacecraft that orbits the Earth, roughly at an average altitude of 400 kilometers. It's a collaborative space project between NASA, Russia's Roscosmos, the European Space Agency, Japan's Aerospace Exploration Agency, and the Canada Space Agency. Its purpose is to conduct scientific research in astrobiology, astronomy, meteorology, and more. Throughout the year, many missions take place in relation to the ISS, whether it's cargo resupplying or scientific experiments. The route to the space station is often busy. The astronauts in question, Sunny and Butch, were part of one such mission in June 2024. However, their primary goal was a little bit different. They were going to test and evaluate the spacecraft that they'll be making a journey in, the new Starliner. They would report on its performance, mainly how safe it was, and if it was able to transport astronauts to and from the space station. The plan was to stay on the International Space Station for 8 days, while conducting research and performing day-to-day routine operations for the space station. But here's the punchline. As alluded to, the Starliner spacecraft is made by Boeing. 2024 was already one of the worst years for the company, and now some astronauts stranded in space can be added to the pile of mishaps. So what exactly is Boeing's Starliner, and where did it go wrong? Almost 10 years ago, in September 2014, Boeing and SpaceX were chosen by NASA as the two companies to help develop transportation for astronauts to travel to and from the ISS and other low-orbit sites. By 2017, Boeing had won a $4.2 billion contract to complete and certify its Starliner class of spacecrafts, and SpaceX won a similar contract for its Dragon spacecraft, but was valued at less, $2.6 billion. The Starliner actually had some pretty competitive features. For example, it's a reusable vessel, meaning that it could potentially be used up to 10 times before requiring any refurbishment. Its capacity was 7 astronauts, or a mix of crew and cargo. It's also modular in essence, so it can be launched using other rockets like SpaceX's Falcon 9. So it's clear that NASA at the time valued Boeing's reliability and track record, particularly over SpaceX, who was more of a wildcard than the established Boeing. Even 10 years ago, Boeing was still a reliable name in the industry, one of the best, from early contributions to space travel, to helping on the actual design of the International Space Station itself and its construction, to commercial space efforts. Boeing was always going to be the top choice for NASA. But that was then, and this is now. 2024 has seen Boeing's reputation absolutely drag through the dirt. But even before, there were a few warning signs that this mission may not be smooth sailing.
The Starliner space capsule failed to reach the proper orbit during an unmanned test flight today, and there is concern that failure could leave the US scrambling to get its astronauts into space.
In 2019, the first unmanned test flight was unsuccessful due to a software issue. A second test flight in 2022 was a bit better, but there were issues with cooling and thruster systems, the latter a foreshadowing of what was to come. The current mission with Sunny and Butch is the first crewed test mission to the space station, and while it successfully reached the ISS and docked successfully, NASA would have likely been sorely disappointed with what happened next. Starliner's problems can be categorized into two categories: helium leaks and thruster malfunctions. The issues on the current mission started even before its launch. A helium leak was detected in the propulsion system due to a damaged seal. And after the spacecraft reached orbit, there were 2 more helium leaks identified, along with 2 smaller leaks post-docking. Then there's the issue with the thrusters. So the spacecraft had 28 reaction control system thrusters. 5 out of those 28 thrusters malfunctioned, and this temporarily delayed the docking process. Now 4 of them have been restored by engineers, and tests performed after docking show that most of the thrusters were okay, but one of them is still not performing as expected. The helium leaks and thruster issues threw the confidence of the safe return of the crew into question. The Boeing and NASA teams now had to troubleshoot the problems from the ground and determine if the Starliner spacecraft is safe for a return journey. NASA had mentioned plans to bring in additional propulsion experts to further evaluate the issues with the Starliner. Quote, "We brought in folks from the robotic spaceflight community at Glenn Research Center and at the Goddard Space Flight Center at JPL. They're used to analyzing propulsion systems when spacecraft are millions of miles away, and they provided some useful input to us." End quote. That was Ken Bowersox, Associate Administrator for NASA's Space Operations Mission Directorate. With that being said, the 2 companies seem at odds. On August 7th, Boeing stated, quote, "We still believe in the Starliner's capability and its flight rationale." But NASA would say, yeah, we don't really agree. Ken Bowersox again, quote, "We've, NASA and Boeing, had very honest discussions with each other. They have confidence in their vehicle. That's what we like to hear from them. But what the NASA team thinks is important, and when we get to a decision, we'll work through it together."
Wow, I just built the most amazing workflow on Monday.com.
You build your own workflow? Why? There are...
In an embarrassing twist, the agency had a contingency plan to bring the 2 astronauts back on a SpaceX spacecraft.
NASA and Boeing engineers disagreeing, no consensus on whether or not they really understand what the problem is. So unless they really understand the problem, they may need to bring the crew back down on a SpaceX Dragon spacecraft. Of course, SpaceX has been flying Dragon to the ISS with astronauts for over 3 years.
And just a last-minute update to the saga, I was already rendering this episode when the news broke. NASA finally made the call and deemed the Boeing spacecraft unsafe to fly. The 2 astronauts will indeed be hitching a ride back with the SpaceX Dragon spacecraft, scheduled for takeoff on September 24th, and they'll be returning in February 2025. The Dragon capsule has room for 4, but 2 of those seats will be empty, and that's in order to accommodate the 2 stranded astronauts. Meanwhile, the stricken Boeing Starliner will return back to Earth, unmanned. It seemed that NASA had little confidence in Boeing because the decision was unanimous. On the decision, Steve Stitch, the manager of NASA's Commercial Crew Program, would state, quote, "There was just too much uncertainty in the prediction of the thruster. The decision to use SpaceX instead of Boeing brings to an end many weeks of uncertainty for the astronauts, but unfortunately, they're still going to be stuck in space for 8 months longer than planned." And now, automatically, the question floods our minds. How are they going to survive up there? What will they eat? What will they do? Are they going to go insane? For those familiar with space travel, or have watched a movie or 2 on the topic, you'd know
before about how they're looking to do a Tomb Raider TV show, right? They've done the movies with Angelina Jolie. They did the Alicia Vikander movie, which no one really cared about. Now they're going to be doing a TV show, and it's going to be helmed by Phoebe Waller-Bridge, which is everyone's favorite fucking activist. Right?
I never compromise.
Welcome to Summoner's Rift.
They won't survive.
30 seconds until minions spawn.
Don't cross me.
Minions have spawned.
There's nowhere to hide. Another body for the gun. Let's finish this quickly. Fools pledge life to honor. Your allegiances mean nothing to me.
First blood.
On the razor. Their bones will wet my blade. I never compromise. They won't survive. Don't cross me. Now! There's nowhere to hide.
An enemy has been slain. An enemy has been slain.
Let's finish this quickly. Only fools pledge life to honor. Your allegiances mean nothing to me. On the razor's edge. I never compromise.
An enemy has been slain.
Don't cross me. There's nowhere to hide. Let's finish this quickly. Only please life to honor. Your allegiance means nothing to me. On the razor's edge. I never compromise.
You have slain
That was a good chase! They won't survive. Don't cross me. There's nowhere to hide. Let's finish this quickly.
An enemy has been slain.
Only fools tread life to honor.
Slain an enemy.
Nothing to me.
An enemy has been slain. Killing spree.
I never compromise. They won't survive. Don't cross me. Enjoy the taste of steel. There's nowhere to hide.
Rampage. Killing spree.
Only fools pledge life to honor. Mean nothing to me.
Rampage.
On the razor's edge. I never compromise. This place is my favorite. They won't survive our kingdom now.
Killing spree.
Don't cross me.
Your team has destroyed a turret.
There's nowhere to hide. pledge life to honor.
None are, dear wolf.
Your team has destroyed the turret. Rampage.
Hearts beat together.
Your team has destroyed a turret.
Nowhere to hide.
Keep it hurt!
Let's finish this quickly.
Your turret has been destroyed. An enemy has been slain.
Only fools pledge life to honor.
Unstoppable.
Your allegiances mean nothing to me. On the razor's edge.
An ally has been slain. Dominating.
They won't survive. Don't cross me.
Godlike. Your team has destroyed a turret. Victory!
writer, director, whatever she's doing now. You know, she inked a multi-million-dollar deal with Amazon Studios several years ago at this point, and has currently produced absolutely nothing with it. But apparently Tomb Raider is going to be one of the projects that he is going to do, but there's no doubt cast on whether it's actually going to happen. And it was really just a rumor that started circulating a couple of days ago. This is from That Park Place saying, Hollywood insiders reportedly believe Amazon and Phoebe Waller-Bridge's live-action Tomb Raider show will not come to fruition. A new report suggests that many Hollywood insiders believe that Amazon and Phoebe Waller-Bridge's live-action Tomb Raider series is not going to see the light of day. This new report comes from Leslie Goldberg at Puck News and notes that Amazon is now searching for a star to play the live-action Lara Croft in the Tomb Raider series, but it's actually got insiders placing bets on whether or not it's ever going to come to fruition. One insider allegedly told the outlet that is a deal for saving face only. So there seems to be doubts on whether it's actually going to happen. And honestly, if you don't want to burn money, I would kill it.
Absolutely. That comes from Puck News, by the way, and like that's a pretty legit source. And in my Rings of Power coverage from a couple of years ago, it was mentioned like how much money. There's a whole article. A bunch of people did videos on it, including Just Brew. And there's an article about how Amazon's burning money. And within that article, they mentioned that the insider sources at Amazon were unhappy with Phoebe Waller-Bridge because they gave her one of those upfront deals and had gotten nothing yet. So I'm sure her name is faded. It certainly didn't help. Indiana Jones couldn't have helped. But I think there's some people probably with a brain out there going, you know, she's probably not going to make a very good Lara Croft. So
I don't think so.
No.
Yeah. Her sensibilities as a writer really don't seem to align with the idea of Lara Croft as a character.
Sure.
Yeah, because, you know, Lara Croft is a classic femme fatale. She is a female action hero. She's adventurous. She's sensual. You know, she's not afraid to use her attractiveness to her advantage. And she's ultimately a treasure seeker, really. You know, she's not really serving a higher purpose. She's there because she wants to go after the next big challenge.